Boop, boop.
Hello, everyone.
Yay! We're back.
Back. We are back, and we're gonna have an ad in 1 second. Okay.
Wonderful. I guess tell me when the ad's over.
Yeah.
Da da.
And there's Discord.
Oh, good.
At least it's working properly again.
Did it what? Did it go a month without it working?
Yeah.
Jesus. Car's outside of going vroom.
It's been raining here for a couple hours.
Oh.
It only recently stopped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rain. Okay. Water bottle, go up there. We're gonna need you. Quite literally.
I have mine right next to my mic. Which I should scoot this closer.
What, the mic or the water bottle?
Yes.
That does not help!
It does help. I told you what it was, and it was both. It's both.
Why are you like this?
Because we have to deal with Soji.
I mean...
And of course we go back to this.
Yes. Are you back?
Just a minute.
Oh my god.
Why is it so... Why is it like this?
Oh, stories. I'm not gonna touch over here, because, this is...
That works.
I think side stories and DLCs is what's over here. So we ain't touching these.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Not even close. Because some of them you gotta unlock. Which
Hold on, I'll be right
through everything. Okay. Okay. Well, it's time to wait till Midget comes back. He's got a call. How is everybody? Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta... Actually, no. We need that thing for Monday. Never mind. Hold on. Okay. I think my head is just imagining noises now. Because I thought I heard something. Oh, well. I literally cannot continue without Midget.
Sorry about that. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
so
I
let's
summoned
do-
you. I summoned you. Don't go back
Yes.
to the intro.
No, I want to do this. All right. Hop out.
Alright.
All right.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yes, load this data. Alright. It had been 3 months since we moved to the headquarters to Nishihonwanji. Has it been 3 months?
I guess.
I now need to go back and see what the remake did, because I swear it said 6 months, but I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Headquarters. After leaving Mibu, the Shinsengumi relocated their headquarters to the Nishihonwanji Temple. There's a lot more room, but... More room meant, well, farther to walk. I'd walked through it nearly every day for several weeks, and I was finally beginning to learn my way around. I don't know what month we're in.
Ah, wonderful.
Wait, what month are we in?
December.
Not real month. Damn it.
Well, why did you ask?
I think it's June. As I turned a corner near the back of the compound, I caught sight of someone sitting in the shadows. There you are, Sanan-san. Your food's ready. This is a completely different background to this scene.
Oh, crap. I gotta bring up something, don't I?
Yeah, you do! Where is the honorifics list?
Alright, I have it.
Yeah! Anyway, yeah, this is a completely different background in the remakes.
There it is. Alright. Oh, hello. Thank you.
The snow had disappeared, the cherry blossoms had bloomed and fled, and now the swallows and the heat had come. Sana-san and I exchanged a pair of smiles, and I held out my hands to let the breeze brush across them. It's really gotten warm lately.
Yes, it has. Unfortunately, the heat and sunlight aren't particularly pleasant for me.
Really? I hadn't thought the sun was particularly strong that day, but to Sanan-san, who had to hide in the shadows or stay indoors during the day, it must have seemed unbearable. The night he changed, Sanan-san's hair had turned white, and in his eyes had been a thirst for blood. Keisuke Sanan, he was officially recorded as being deceased, when in fact he drank the water of life and became a Fury. He is in command of the Fury Corps. I almost said corpse. But to look at his peaceful smile now, it was hard to imagine that night had even been real. If someone had taken me aside and said it was all a bad dream, I would have believed them. It hadn't been a dream, though, and now Sanan-san spends his days avoiding being seen and hiding from the sunlight. The Shinsengumi's greatest secret. Here it is. For just a moment, the sun lit on Sanan-san's hair. I don't know if it was a trick of the light or simply my mind being foolish, but in that moment his hair was a brilliant white.
Run! Run! Is something the matter? You look as though you've seen a ghost, which I hardly feel is polite.
Oh, no, nothing at all. He looked perfectly normal now, of course. Surely, I thought, I must have simply imagined it. Even if I had, there was no denying that he was the same man who had gone mad with bloodlust. It was unnerving. Wish. Heisuke and I made our way through the crowded as usual streets of Kyo at a brisk pace. Oh, I know what it's time for. You know, I haven't gone out on patrol with you in quite a while, Heisuke.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess not. Edo had me pretty busy. Shin and Sano didn't bug you while I was gone, did they? Sano-san?
It's just... does it say
Shin and Sano-san didn't bother you while I was gone, did they?
No, they were perfect gentlemen. I'm fine. I'm sorry, perfect gentleman paired with Nagakura. I can't! I couldn't manage to suppress a short giggle. They looked out for me when we were out on patrol, but I still haven't found any information about my father, though.
Aw. Yeah, I stopped by your place in Edo after you told me where to find it, but,
He couldn't seem to find the words he was looking for, and instead just kicked at a clump of dirt in frustration. Oh, well, thank you for taking the time to look anyway.
Take a drink!
There it is.
Uh,
I took several sips. Hansky looked up in time to see my face fall and gave me a good-natured pat on the shoulder.
Come on, cheer up! Who knows, he might just pop up one day.
You're right. Besides, you're all helping me look, so I've got to find him sooner or later. But what about you? You haven't been back in Kyoto in a while.
Well, I sort of feel like the town has changed. So have the people.
Hesuke? The smile he put on to cheer me up a moment ago was gone. Nostalgia and melancholy weren't like him.
Huh?
Hesuke's head jerked up a fraction of a degree, and he looked across the street. He stood up on his toes and waved.
Hey, Soji! Find anything over there? Nope, everything's normal.
Okita-san was out of patrol as well. Although his route took him through a different part of the city than ours, he gave me a short nod of acknowledgement, then looked back towards Heisuke with a snicker. Why?
Well, normal for now, at least. Sure, things will pick up once the Shogun gets here.
The Shogun's coming to visit Kyo?
Yep, it's got Kondo-san all worried about it.
If the Shogun was visiting, that was a chance for the Shinsengumi to be noticed. Kondo-san's reaction to that possibility was easy to imagine. He's giddy.
Like whenever he gets ready for the holidays.
Oh my god, yes! I giggled.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I bet he is.
That didn't seem like Heisuke. Heisuke's going through it. Had something happened that I didn't know about? I looked over to Okita, hoping that he might help, but...
No such luck.
Oh, right, this starts. Okita-san, are you alright? His face was tight with pain, and his coughing was getting worse. He glanced up, but his gaze swept past me and across the street. His eyes narrowed at something behind me, and I turned in time to see a Ronin stumble backwards.
What do you mean, no?
Stop it! Let me go!
We're patriots, fighting every day to kick those damn foreigners out of our country. Least you can do is give us a little booze, or maybe a little company.
Patriot! A person who devotes themselves to their country, sometimes even going as far as to give their life.
Or a bunch of cheating football players, whatever you do.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, the whole deflation scandal with Tom Brady, and he was the quarterback for the Patriots.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Well, I do, so...
Across the street, a clump of men, perhaps 3 or 4, were harassing a young girl. I didn't know what they were up to, but it didn't look pleasant. We have to help her. I felt Heisuke tense up next to me.
I know. Stay here, Chizuru.
Before he could finish, a flash of blue cloth shot past us towards the dangerous knot of men.
Well. Guess being a patriot doesn't mean what it used to if we got men like you throwing it around.
The usual crowd shuffled away from Okita-san and the men as quickly as they could. None of them wanted to be nearby once words were put away and swords unsheathed. The Ronin's eyes found Okita-san's jacket and the men stiffened.
You're one of those Shinsengumi fellas, ain't ya? Ah, and you must be the brains. So tell me, Chief, what's it gonna be?
His lips curled back into a predatory smile as his hand fell to the haft
Haft, yes.
of his sword. Shouldn't it be shaft?
Oh, probably.
Well, there was no mirth in that rictus grin, and the Ronin's face abruptly grew several shades paler. They were only somewhat deflated, however, not entirely punctured, and the ringleader made one more attempt.
Damn it. Get out of here, you brown-nosing son of a bitch. Shut up. If you really want to live, then maybe you should follow your own advice.
The sight of two of the Shinsengumi's notorious blue jackets standing shoulder to shoulder was apparently enough of an argument for the Ronin. The last of the color drained from their faces, and they turned tail and ran. You aren't going to go after them? Arrest them?
And charge them with which crime exactly? Didn't figure you for the Iron Fist sort.
Fuck you, Okita.
He was right, of course. They'd had crime on their minds, certainly, but they hadn't actually committed one. I got there! Iron Fist?
What are you so worked up for? Ah, never mind, forget about it.
My name is Kaoru Nagumo. Thank you for saving me.
Oh, brat.
A girl who the protagonist saved while out on patrol with Okita and Todo. She bears a striking resemblance to the protagonist. That hasn't happened yet, game! I watched as the girl gave Okita-san a quick bow. She was so refined, so ladylike.
Until you look in between those legs.
God damn it. Even dressed as a girl, I doubted I could ever be as elegant as her. I'd only just begun to feel sorry for myself when suddenly I felt a hand on my arm. Huh? Okita-san!
Calm down, kid. Just come here and stand next to her. Whoosh.
Whoosh. Okay, this is a better quality shot of Chizuru than in the remake for some reason. What the fuck? Anyway, he shoved me next to the girl we just rescued, then stepped back to stroke his chin thoughtfully. Okita-san? I glanced nervously towards the girl and gave her my best attempt at a smile under the circumstances. The smile she gave me in return was beautiful, but there was something about it that seemed odd.
Just as I thought. They look just like each other. Just as I thought, they look like each other.
Hello, Mr. Yan. You have made your appearance. He seemed to be talking mostly to himself, but as soon as the words left his mouth, I realized what had seemed odd to me. We look like? No, it was more than that. We were too much alike. It was almost as if I were looking into a mirror, but a mirror with a will of its own and wearing much better clothes. The longer I looked at her, the more uncomfortable I felt. I shuddered.
Really? I don't think they look alike at all. Hesuke, buddy. No, they're practically identical. You dress up the kid like a girl and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
The girl, Kaoru, was looking straight at me, as if she hadn't heard a word Okita-san had said. I had to say something, but what? Perhaps she saw through my confusion, or perhaps it was something else. I wish to thank you properly, but I'm afraid you've caught me in the middle of an important errand which I must attend to. Please forgive my rudeness. She bowed quickly to Okita-san. I hope I will be able to repay you soon, Okita of the Shinsengumi. And with that, the girl who called herself Kaoru disappeared into the crowds of Kyo, although the unease her presence had created in me remained. With a mischievous grin, Heisuke dug a playful elbow into Okita-san's ribs.
Hey, looks like she got the hot for you, Soji. Oh, ha, Heisuke. Is that what you really think? You got a long way to go before you're at Sano-san's level.
They just
Hey, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Their back and forth continued, but my mind was elsewhere. Last night's rain had left a number of puddles on the road, and when I looked into them, I saw a strange girl who looked just like me. Kaoru, huh? Wind caught the surface of the puddle, sending a flurry of ripples across it. My face quirked into a small smile, but the face in the puddle didn't smile back.
Come on, Chizuru. Come on, Chizuru-chan, let's... Oh, no, he just said just Chizuru. Okay.
Yeah.
Chizuru, let's get moving.
Alright, I'm coming! Wasting no more time on a puddle, I turned and ran towards Heisuke and Okita-san, already on their way back to headquarters. I was trying to figure out how to make Kaoru sound more feminine.
I think you did pretty good.
Yay! The temple was much larger than the compound in Mibu, as advertised. The entire Shinsengumi could gather in the new common room with space to spare. As Kondo-san spoke, his voice echoed grandly throughout the hall.
By now, I imagine you've all heard that Imochi Tokugawa, the 14th shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate, will be visiting our city of Kyoto.
Iemochi Tokugawa, the 14th Tokugawa shogun, he married the sister of Emperor Komei to show a desire for imperial unification, and was popular with the emperor and the vassals. Vassals!
The Shinsengumi have been asked to guard him as he passes through the city on his way to Nijo Castle.
Nijo Castle, a castle built by the Tokugawa shogunate to house the shogun while he was in Kyo. And I say Kyo because they say Kyo. I've learned.
Oh.
Yeah. The Shinsengumi guard the shogun? Almost immediately, the room exploded in cheers.
Hey!
I love how Discord cuts you out.
I know. Huh. Too hard for them to ignore us after Ikeda and Hamaguri. Huh? All that work's finally paying off. Guess you'd say the fate of the country will be resting on our swords, huh?
He let out a snort of laughter as he spoke, but there was something in what he said that put me on edge. Then again, it wasn't as if I'd be going to guard the shogun.
Alright, guards, huh? If only Sanan were still with us. If only Sanan-san were still with us. We have truly lost a valuable ally.
Hi, Dan, and thank you for the sippy sip.
Yeah. He also said, oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I can see chat.
Yeah, still.
They never told Ito-san the truth about Sanan-san. In fact, the entire incident surrounding his transformation had been covered up. Only a few of the men of the Shinsengumi knew the truth. Late night war.
Late
Yeah.
night walk. Yeah.
Late night war. Perhaps Kondo-san felt guilty for deceiving him, because I saw a brief flicker of bitterness across his face before he spoke.
Well, at any rate, things are going to be rather hectic around here very soon, so we ought to get our assignments hashed out. To begin with, I'd like Toshi, Soji and myself to. Sorry, Kondo-san, but maybe you think maybe Soji can sit this one out. I think he's getting sick. What? Soji, is that true? Are you all right?
Dad, why are you awake? What?
May it's 2:53 for me, so very much late night water. May even bottle. As in a bottle of water.
Oh my god. Why?
A demon's just another being a mother hen, sir. I think I'm fine. Don't give me that crap, Soji. You just about coughed up a lung earlier.
Did you meant to type Sunday? Or Sunday?
It's a day of sin, not a day of sun.
God damn it.
Fine, fine. Think someone's being a little overprotective, though.
His smile had turned a little bitter as he spoke, but he looked fine. Perhaps Ichikata-san was just being overprotective. I didn't have much time to dwell on it, however, before... Heisuke?
Kondo-san? I'm not feeling so great either. Oh, you too, Heisuke? Oh, this is our time to shine. I was hoping to have you all of us here to greet the Shogun. Hey. Hush.
Do you want another go?
No.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I see, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, no. Your health comes first, always. I'm sure you'll have another chance. I just have to make sure you get to do something spectacular.
He did his best to simply wave it off, but it was easy to see his genuine concern for Okita-san and Heisuke.
Heisuke's being a good boy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's making it to where Soji doesn't feel as bad for being left behind.
Once he had finished inspecting the rest of the soldiers and sending them off on their assignments, Hijikata-san turned to me.
All right, what are you going to do? Don't give me that. I'm asking you if you're coming with us or not.
I can go too?
Of course, we certainly won't mind. After all, you're practically one of us. If you want to come, I'd love for you to.
Could I really go?
Happens when you've been using one phone for 5 years or more. Yeah, I know.
I hesitated for a moment, confused, and Okita-san and Heisuke laughed.
You don't need to worry about it yourself, kid. Nobody's gonna be stupid enough to try and attack the Shogun. Oh, really? I mean, whoops. Why don't you go? I'd be surprised if anyone did so much as draw a sword.
It didn't seem quite fair to me that I wasn't even a soldier and I could go, while they were stuck back at the compound.
Well,
Still,
Heisuke's being a good...
a good boy?
Spoilers.
Spoilers banned! Can you even ban yourself? Don't actually! Still, I felt drained lately.
I just muted the desktop mic was all.
Oh. Still, I'd felt drained lately, with the lack of information we'd been able to uncover about my father. Perhaps this would be just the thing to cheer me up. I'll go. Perhaps the excitement of the occasion was infectious, as I felt a steel in my spine that hadn't been there before. If so, however, it appeared Hijikata-san was immune.
You can't self-ban... You can't... What did he say? You can't Can't self Sudoku. Calm down. You're just carrying messages. Think you can handle that?
Oh, I like the remix version of that better because he has that goddamn face. I miss it. Right, left, right, left. My footsteps echoed softly through the night. Oh, my legs are starting to cramp up. I decided it was best I take a short break and stop to look up at the castle. In the early days of the Tokugawa shogunate, Nijo Castle had been a place for the shogun to stay on his way to the capital. It had been a while since a shogun had actually stayed in it, though. We met the shogun on the road and began our escort about 30 minutes earlier, and had arrived at the castle relatively recently. By now, I imagine Kondo-san, Nagakura, Inoue, and the men were greeting the officials and other important people in the shogun's retinue. Well, I've got a job to do too. More specifically, it was my job to tell all the soldiers when to change shifts, and generally carry messages back and forth. A glorified errand girl, in other words. This means I'm not totally useless, right?
Yeah!
Time to get back to work then. Even a short walk around Nijo Castle was enough to see several blue jackets, all of them on guard, none of them nervous or anxious. Well, of course. After all, the castle's really well guarded. Only an idiot would try to... A sudden chill ran down the length of my spine.
Ooh.
I froze. Ah! That's me actually reacting to my controller that vibrated. I don't expect it. I knew the feeling. 2 feet of cold steel waiting to find their way into you. Eyes shining with a lust for blood and violence. Dan, I don't need to check delivery.
Yeah, both packages arrived, by the way.
Yeah, we're good. I have a working monitor and my samples of perfumes are here.
The smelly goods are here.
Yeah, the smelly goods are here. We will need it for Monday, though.
Yeah.
And then I will turn it off. I'd never hoped to find myself accustomed to such a horrible thing, but in the time since I'd begun living with the Shinsengumi, I'd felt it more than once. I suppose I would have called what I felt radiating from the shadows bloodlust. My eyes were drawn up towards the roof where no normal person would ever think to look. A large wall cast a shadow, shielding a section of the roof from the moonlight. Turn off the Redeemer key for jump scares. Okay. There they stood.
Oh my!
You!
So, you've noticed that. Not too slow, then.
They looked very distinctive, unlike any soldiers I'd ever seen before, but 3 sets of piercing eyes scattered my thoughts and made it difficult for me to think. I had recognized them. Now I had to put names to faces. Chikage Kazuma. Chikage Kazuma, a man with ties to the Satsuma domain who claims to be a demon. He has a very specific interest in the heroine.
I'd just say Shiro.
Shiro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put an S in front of hero.
Yeah, I can see that.
An ad break in less than 20 seconds, by the way.
Kyuju Amagiri. Kyuju Amagiri, a mysterious person involved with the Satsuma domain. He claims to be a demon. Kyo Shiranui. Kyo Shiranui, a person who associates himself with the Choshu domain. He claims to be a demon.
And ad break ended. Oh, it was an ad break in progress. Okay.
Oh. I was taking a sippy sip. They were connected somehow to both the Satsuma and the Choshu, and they'd made an effort to impede the Shinsengumi at Ikeda and again at Hamaguri. Whoever they were, they did not belong at the Shogun's castle. Why are you here?
Hey, little girl. Why you ought to be asking yourself how we got here, not why. Skooma users. It was pretty easy, you know. A little human wall doesn't mean shit to a demon. We are here for a specific purpose. That purpose is you, Chizu Yukimura. We are here for you.
I don't understand. A demon? What do you mean? And why are you here for... No, you must be joking.
How can you ask what a demon is? Perhaps you're the one joking here. After all, you are one just like us.
He stepped forward, the shadows following him like a cloak. What?
The first guy sounded like the rider guy from yesterday.
When Amagiri spoke, it was calm and peaceful, as if he were trying to reason with a frightened child.
Do your injuries heal quickly? Too quickly, perhaps?
What?
Do you heal from injuries faster than any human could?
Well, I couldn't bring myself to answer that, so I pursed my lips and remained silent instead. Shiranui's eyes narrowed.
What the hell? Maybe it'd be quicker if we gave her a demonstration. Enough, Shiranui. I don't care if she admits it or not. We are here for a reason, and that hasn't changed.
His eyes dropped to the kodachi at my waist.
Her family name is the Demons, and she carries the Demon of the East Kodachi. That is evidence enough.
My family name? What was wrong with Yukimura?
Everything.
Pet.
There was a fashion dreamer. There was a guy in Fashion Dreamer named called Something Rider.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. I didn't understand what he was saying, but that didn't stop the cold sweat that I could feel it inching down my spine. It felt almost as though the darkness itself was coming for me.
Then again, it isn't as though we need your permission to kidnap you. Your compliance is not a factor. Female demons are rare. Now, come with me.
His hand stretched out from the darkness, pale and grasping, like the tentacle of some hideous subterranean monster. Then, out of nowhere, a blade flickered through the night.
Is it Poster Boy? Oh! Whoa there, pal. Trying to pick up chicks in a back alley? That's not creepy at all. You again? The culture and the nose of a dog, I see. One could say the same of you.
Sword and spear glinted in the moonlight, and Kazuma stepped back, momentarily stymied. I got to drink water. Woo!
Yeah.
Hanada-san! Saito-san! My legs felt suddenly weak. Eh?
Eep time.
My legs felt suddenly weak, as if the now shadowed tension had been the only thing keeping me standing. I teetered backwards, my balance momentarily lost. A strong... sinewy?
Snooey.
Eh?
Snooey.
Snewy?
Sinewy, I guess. I think it is.
Sinewy? What does that mean? Sinewy. A strong sinewy hand caught me and pulled me back, its grip hard as steel.
Consisting or resembling sinews. Similar, muscular, well-muscled, muscly, brawny, well-built, powerful built.
Okay, so a strong hand.
Yeah. A short, sinewy, sunburnt man, for example. Anyways, stay back.
Hijikata-san. One hand guided me around behind him, even as the other drew his sword.
Wing.
Even?
Even as the other drew his sword.
Does that make sense? Even
Yes.
Even hasn't never made sense to me in this sentence.
One hand guided me behind him as the other drew his sword. I think that's what they were trying to go for because, gotta love localizations. Ah, I figured you were here for the Shogun's head. What do you want from a kid? I've little interest in you or the Shogun at the moment. The matter at hand here concerns only we demons. Demons?
His eyes narrowed.
Ha! I haven't seen these punks since Hamaguri.
As Harada-san drew his spear back into a ready position, I saw Shiranui's hand move towards the gun on his hip.
True, though I feel little at this reunion.
Saito-san's hand tightened around his sword, and Amagiri's feet shifted into a stronger stance.
As I pop my knuckles.
Tension hung in the air so thick I could scarcely breathe. They were a power keg ready to explode. Even the slightest...
Powder, not power.
Oh, powder keg. Whoops. Ready to explode. Even the slightest movement could be enough to set them off. As slowly as I could, I moved my trembling hand towards the hilt of my kodachi. I nearly reached it when a voice whispered in my ear.
Don't worry about the commander and the captains.
Where's the button? Did I click the right button?
Yamazaki, please.
I'm in on stream.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, I think you did, because I see a fan and a heart. Oh.
Yes.
Don't worry about the commander and the captains.
Yamazaki-san, when did you...
Shh.
He'd appeared as silently and invisibly as he had been a shadow of himself. As if he had been a shadow himself.
I have been ordered to return you to headquarters.
Then you're telling me to run away? If it was true that if I remained, it was unlikely I could actually be of help to anyone. There we go. What did you think it is?
I am going to stay.
We're staying! I'm going to stay here. Yamazaki-san's brow twitched momentarily in surprise.
You don't understand. What do you hope to accomplish by remaining here?
I know that staying here might not be the smartest idea. And I know that I probably won't be able to help. In fact, I might even get in the way. But I have to stay. I'm sorry. They called me a demon and told me to come with them. I still didn't know what they meant by that. I needed to know the truth.
You have a reason to stay, then, and conviction. I admire that. Unfortunately, I have my orders. Just as you must remain true to what you believe is right, so must I.
We need the button. God damn it, Yamazaki.
Yamazaki, please.
What? Yamazaki-san reached for my arm, ready to take me with him by force. His hands had nearly reached me when I felt a bolt of lightning race up my spine. I spun around to see Shiranui, his hand wrapped tight around the grip of his pistol, and his eyes aflame with the heat of a blacksmith's forge.
Hold on there, buddy. The princess says she wants to stay, so she stays. You gotta learn to let a girl go. Yeah.
With his last words, Shiranui launched himself towards us just as Harada-san leapt to intercept him.
There are times when quick decisions are important, but Shiranui's short temper can be problematic. Perhaps, but you seem interested in stopping him.
Saito-san and Amagiri had maneuvered nearly into striking distance of one another.
Damn it. What the hell are you all doing?
The brewing fight had gone from a brawl to a set of 3 duels. Hijikata-san threw me an angry look before turning to glare at Kazuma. I...
Reach for my sword?
Hold on. Reach for my sword!
Wing!
I wrapped my fingers around it has to be shaft, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I wrapped my fingers around the shaft of my kodachi and looked at Kazuma. There had to be something I could do.
Get out of here, you idiot. He'll tear you apart. Yamazaki-san, keep her out of this.
Hijikata just says last names.
Oh, right.
It says Kondo.
Yamazaki, get her out of here.
Hijikata-san edged sideways, putting himself more firmly between Kazuma and myself. The other man glared at him, his mouth thinning to a tight line.
Oh. Desperate peasants. I suppose you take some joy from impeding us? Says the pot to the kettle. That reminds me, I haven't paid you back for the man you killed at Hamagiri, have I?
The air between them fairly hummed with tension. All apart though I could still feel their intensity. It was hard to breathe. 2 more steps and they would be within the reach of one another's swords.
You wish to kill me and put my body as an offering on the grave of the man you lost? Don't be an idiot. I'd rather send you to apologize to him in person.
1 more step.
Wing!
It began so fast that in the span of a blink I missed Hijikata-san's sword move to strike Kazuma's blade in a furious clash of metal. The 2 swords ground against one another, screaming in protest. Even from a distance away, I felt the impact when they met, but Kazuma seemed unfazed. Hijikata-san's eyes flickered towards me, and his hands tightened on his sword.
What the hell do you want from this kid anyway? Chizuru is too much for you. We have come to take her off your hands. Quite simple. Just what is that supposed to mean?
Their blades shuddered and danced too fast for my eyes to follow. All I could catch was the flicker of movement as the moonlight caught them, and the flash of sparks when they met. They leapt at each other, blades flashing, and met for a moment. The 2 men sprang away, circled, and then leapt forward again. The clipped strands of Kazuma's hair drifted away on a cool evening breeze.
I see.
There were no signs of fear in his face. Instead, I saw what I thought was perhaps the tiniest flicker of respect. He lowered his sword.
What the hell is this?
Both men
What the hell is this?
Both men stepped back, their fight clearly finished.
Further fighting serves no purpose. We will do nothing more than attract unwanted attention.
His voice was calm, as deep and harsh as 2 boulders grinding together.
What? You talking to me? Come on, I know when to leave at a party. Because I had my mouse hovered over and the little bar thing that said, suggested activity, share your screen, mute, and stop watching, got in the way.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Kazuma looked at his companions momentarily, then nodded.
Yes, our suspicions have been confirmed. We've no need to stay. This time, we only came to say hello. Do you really believe we'll simply allow you to walk away? Then call your men? You three may survive, but how many soldiers would you lose? But will we slaughter before we escape? Shit.
Yeah.
Would you spend their lives so easily?
There was no doubt that Cosmo and his companions were powerful. There was no edge of arrogance in his voice, only cold fact. They leapt silently, fading into the darkness, but as he did, Cosmo spoke to me one last time.
I will return for you. Soon.
He was far out of arm's reach, but his words felt as if they brushed against my cheek, cold and threatening. A shiver ran up my spine.
Well, are you alright, Chizuru-chan?
I took the
Oh,
hand.
it's just Chizuru,
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Chizuru.
I took the hand Harada-san offered and pulled myself to my feet. Hijikata-san was still staring intently out into the darkness, but when he spoke, it was to me.
Kid, you got any idea why they were after you?
I hesitated. They had said I was one of them. Kazuma had invited me to go with him. Had he been telling the truth? I didn't know. I'm not sure. There was really nothing more I could say. So much had happened. My mind spun full to bursting. Once the rest of the men returned, there was a meeting among the captains. The subject of that meeting was the three men who appeared at Nijo Castle: Chikage Kazuma, Kyujo Amagiri, and Kyo Shiranui. They had called themselves demons, and their previous encounters with the Shinsengumi suggested that they were involved somehow with the Satsuma and Choshu. Although it wasn't clear if the three men were members of any domain, the Satsuma and Choshu were the most vocal imperialist domains. What was clear was they, Kazuma, Amagiri, and Shiranui, were not to be taken lightly. There was another problem, however. Why had they come for me? Hijikata-san asked if I had any idea why they would have targeted me, but I was as desperate to know as he was. They'd called me one of them, and they'd known my last name. Kazuma had pointed out my kodachi, although I didn't understand what he'd said. I couldn't bring myself to tell Hijikata-san and the captains. What if they didn't believe me? I didn't believe me. My name is Chizuru Yukimura. I'm the daughter of my father and my mother. I'm a normal girl, nothing out of the ordinary.
That's what you think.
My only memento of my mother, my kodachi, lay in my palm. I squeezed it tight. Who am I? It's still June. Okay. The compound was alive with noise and movement. I passed several soldiers in the halls, each one of them excited about something.
This is unconscionable. Never. In all my...
Ito-san, is something wrong?
Yes, I'd say everything is wrong. Why should I have made to bare my skin in the same room as those savages?
Ito-san's explanation was anything but. Is there something going on today? Ito-san did his best to collect himself, shakily adjusting his hair and clothing before he spoke.
A supposed doctor that Kono met during the Shogun's visit has come here. He is conducting physical examinations.
With a disdainful sniff, he glared pointedly across the hall, towards the area he'd just left. The men were getting physical checkups, that much I knew. Given my particular situation, I'd been exempted by the captains, who had also given me special instructions to stay away.
Good job, captains. That hairless monster! He demanded that I remove my clothes. In front of everyone! When I refused, as any decent man would do, he attempted to remove them himself by force. And the rest of them just stood there. What sort of uncultured savages are they?
Savages seemed a bit strong. At any rate, perhaps...
But not inaccurate.
At any rate, perhaps I should go see just what a physical entailed. I was a doctor's daughter, after all. What's this doctor's name?
I believe he called himself, Ryujin Matsumoto?
Yay! What? Wait, Matsumoto-sensei? When I first came to Kyo, my plan had been to try and find Matsumoto-sensei. My father had told me that I could rely on the man if I ever needed anything. Unfortunately, he'd been away on business when I'd arrived, and after that... I'm going to go watch the physical exams. There was no time to waste.
What, oh my! So you want to see those savages? What peculiar taste.
I wonder what that means. I know what it means. Do you know what it means?
Let's just keep going.
Is this it? I could hear loud voices from inside. Oh, do we get this scene? Oh. Oh. The scene froze me in place.
Next. Last, my turn. Check this out, Doc.
Hold on. There we go.
What do you think, Doc? You're looking at the most amazing product from years of training. Your body's fine, Shin. I think it's your head that the doctor ought to be taking a look at. What's that? You say you want me to beat the daylights out of you?
Jesus.
You're fine, Senpachi Nagakura. Move along. Next. Whoa, hold there, Doc. You gotta take a good look at this. And I expect a fright. No, you're quite fine. Healthy as a horse. And I've seen quite enough, thank you. You're holding up the line, Senpachi. Yeah, Senpachi. Get moving, alright? I'm just saying, I don't really think you've had time to fully examine, and I'm expecting a frying pan. A medical examination is for finding problems, not showing off. Now move.
It wasn't difficult to see why Ito-san had been so desperate to escape. I couldn't imagine him as part of such a display. I'm sorry, but I think the remake has a one-up on this scene because we're missing Beefcake. I'm sorry.
Wait, you're not talking about me? You need to take better care of your digestive system. Here, take this after every meal. Looks like I'm out of medicine.
I was waiting outside when Matsumoto-sensei stepped out of the room where he was conducting the examinations. Excuse me.
Yes?
He looked at me for a moment, his eyes narrowed in curiosity.
Well, I need to fetch some medicine, so perhaps now is good time for a break. Can you give me a hand?
Yes, of course. What luck. Matsumoto-sensei.
Oh, Sensei. Hello. Sensei. Hello, Yukimura.
Kondo-san appeared just as I was preparing to introduce myself to the doctor.
I see you found her already. Yes, thanks to you.
What? I was utterly lost. Matsumoto-sensei laid a gentle hand on my shoulder.
Chizuru, I came here to see you. Kondo-san told me that Kondo's daughter was staying with the Shinzagumi.
Oh, I see.
I knew Kondo-san and Matsumoto-san were acquaintances. So I thought perhaps Matsumoto-san might be able to give us a clue as to his friend's whereabouts. I looked him up as soon as he returned to Kyoto.
The Shinsengumi had their own reasons for wanting my father found, but Matsumoto-sensei's appearance was still cause for joy. Thank you, both of you. Take a shot.
Yep, take a shot. Ah.
They smiled. Well, oh. Matsumoto-sensei went on to explain that he had just barely missed me when he left for Edo as I came to Kyoto. He had received all my letters, but once he finally returned, he had no idea where I'd gone. It consequently couldn't come find me. Kondo-san's mention of my presence had taken him quite by surprise.
I'm sorry that I missed you. You must have had a rough time of it. Is there anything you need?
No, I'm doing alright. So, Matsumoto-sensei, about my father. His face took on a grim cast, and before he even spoke, I knew what his response would be.
Unfortunately, I know no more about where Kodo-san might be than you do. We have a break in about a minute and a half.
That's fine. I see. The defeated tone of my voice surprised me. I suppose on some level I had believed that Matsumoto-sensei would have some sort of miraculous revelation about my father. Foolish of me, of course. But that didn't make the truth any less devastating. Kondo-san simply nodded.
I hear you've been quite involved with the treatment. You know what I mean, don't you? Kodo-san's experiments?
Yes, I knew what he meant. The experiments my father had conducted with some strange concoction that can make people go mad. Please, tell me about it. I want to know everything my father was doing.
30 seconds.
He nodded.
Kondo-san was working with the Shinsengumi under orders from the Shogun to create what were called Furies. Furies are humans with nigh demonic strength and speed and phenomenal healing abilities.
Furies, a creature with heightened speed and strength, and the ability to heal from almost any wound. Drinking the water of life would transform a human into a Fury. One must stab a Fury through the heart, or remove its head in order to truly kill it. Furies. It was the first time I'd heard the word. The doctor paused for a moment to look at me, then continued.
The substance that transforms normal men into these Furies is called the Water of Life.
Water of life, a substance imported from the west that turns those who take it into furies. Until it was refined by Kodo Yukimura, it was too toxic to use.
In China, they call it senton. In short, it grants immortality.
Furies. Water of life. It sounded more like something from a fairy tale than real life. But there was something in the tone of Matsumoto-sensei's voice that said he was telling the truth. I've already heard about how it makes you strong and hard to kill. But doesn't it cause so much pain that it makes most people go crazy? And even if you survive that, then even the smell of blood can make you go crazy again. Matsumoto-sensei nodded slowly, then pinched the bridge of his nose with his thumb and forefinger. He looked very tired.
So you knew about that too?
Yes. They were human, but not human. Perhaps they were something entirely different now? I couldn't see how this water of life could ever be used for good. Even if it had healed Sanan-san's arm, he suffered greatly in the process. Why? It came out more of a moan than a question. My father would never want to ruin the life of another, but because of what he'd done, people had suffered. Some had even died. Why was my father doing this? But it wasn't just my father. I was sure no one involved had wanted such a terrible outcome.
Perhaps that's why Kodo-san left. His conscience would no longer allow him to continue. But the water of life was an opportunity given to us by the Shogun to help strengthen the Shinzengumi.
The doctor only shook his head.
It was an experiment and it had failed. You should put it behind you. I'm sure the Shogunate has abandoned it as well.
Kondo-san frowned, perhaps unhappy that Matsumoto-sensei would question the Shogunate's original decision.
You've seen what's happened to the men that was tested on, Kondo-san. It cannot be allowed to continue. This experiment is inhumane and you know it.
Kondo-san gave a non-committal grunt and fell silent. I was sure Kondo-san knew just how dangerous it was to use the water of life, but the Shogunate had come to him with a request. Perhaps he was unable to refuse, even if he wanted to. Silence fell like a thick blanket. It had grown almost unbearable when...
Well, an outsider has no right to object.
Sanan-san? He was especially pale, which seemed to be one of the consequences for being active during the day. Is it okay for you to be up right now?
Sanan-san? You look pale. Don't worry about me.
He bowed quickly, his mouth a compressed line, and turned to regard the doctor with a cool gaze.
We use this treatment effectively at our at our own discretion. It's dangerous and far too strong. We have continued Kodo-san's research. I am, as you can see, living proof, so to speak.
As Sanan-san did indeed prove, it was possible to drink the water of life and retain your sanity. It just wasn't easy.
Perhaps you're right. But one success hardly means you have unlocked its secrets. I respectfully disagree. With continued research and modification, we will have many more successes and fewer casualties. This isn't a matter of fewer casualties, it's a matter of casualties, period. It isn't worth the deaths of any more of your men. The men who have been given their lives are the foundation of our work. I won't allow them to have died in vain. But... Alright, that's enough from both of you. Why don't we discuss this some other time?
It was my private opinion that they were unlikely to agree, no matter what time they discussed the subject. But I felt it would be polite to keep that to myself.
Very well.
There seemed to be very little in the way of common ground between them, but I could see the merit of both their arguments. Likely Kondo-san had as well, and had chosen to end things before it got unpleasant.
If you insist, Kondo-san.
Sanan-san's face betrayed nothing of what he might be thinking, even when the corner of his mouth quirked up into the beginning of a smile. He bowed once more, and left as swiftly as he'd arrived. Kondo-san cleared his throat loudly.
So, how did the exams go? Yes, about that.
Matsumoto-sensei's face took on the look of someone about to discuss something exceedingly grotesque.
It's time to leave. Nearly a third of your men are sick, injured, or both.
What?
Impossible. Not only is it possible, Kondo-san, it's the truth. What on earth have you been doing to these poor men? Cuts, lacerations, bowel pain. The entire place is lousy with, well, lice for one.
I've never had lice.
I really hope you don't. It is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, Lord.
Are you serious? First, you need to set aside a room dedicated to medical care. Sick men can be sent there. Second, you need to clean this place up. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you. I see. Well, if the good doctor says so. Whoosh.
And so we were ordered to clean the entire compound. The captains complied. Complied. I got there. Complied, although they certainly seemed less than enthusiastic about the idea. The following day, Matsumoto-sensei returned for an inspection.
Well, you've certainly cleaned this place up.
He looked pleased, if not a little smug.
It better be. We busted our asses. Yeah, except for Soji. The only thing his ass busted was a chair. That doesn't seem fair to me.
Jesus Christ, Sasuke.
He's just jealous. Can't blame me if Hijikata's an Can't blame me if Hijikata-san's an overprotective old woman. Shut up. You can run around all you want as soon as you go a day without coughing up a lung.
If Ichikata-san had any actual concern for Okita-san's health, his face showed none of it.
Nonetheless, a clean home is a nice change. True, this place looks different. I guess I could get used to this. Well, maybe we should clean every day then. Great idea! Make sure you do a good job, Heisuke. What? Wait, hang on a minute there, Sin. You got the most energy. Don't you think you're getting out of this?
I'll help too.
Good, good. Well, I'll give it a shot tomorrow, alright? Hey, wait a minute. When exactly did I tell you I was gonna help? Senpachi, there's some trash over there. Go throw it away. We aren't starting till tomorrow, right? Hesuke? Stop running around like that. We've just cleaned and you're already kicking up dust.
I was enjoying their banter so much I almost didn't notice Okita-san quietly step outside.
He thought.
Huh? I could see Okita-san and Matsumoto-sensei outside, walking off somewhere together. Where could they be going, I wonder?
It's none of our business, honestly.
It's not any of our business.
We're not on Okita's route.
No,
yet.
we're not. We don't even know
Yet.
who's after.
Yeah, we don't.
I was worried for Okita-san, but he'd be fine so long as Matsumoto-sensei was with him. After the excitement wound down, I excused myself and went back to work.
Whoosh.
Washa! I was outside sweeping, bamboo broom in hand, when he appeared.
They make you do chores here, do they?
What? The cool, bemused voice had come from behind me. It took only half a second to realize that it was a voice I'd heard before. Slowly, I turned around.
Hello!
That.
You have the pure blood of a demon rushing in your veins, and yet you run errands and clean up for a pack of humans? I'll have you know that a pack of humans are not a pack, they're an infestation.
What?
Mr. Popo.
Oh my god! Yeah. Humans are an infestation. Hey. Chikage Kazuma, just as I'd suspected. His face was a mixture of surprise and sneering disgust as he looked down at me through cold eyes. I took the broom in both hands like a staff and stepped into what I hoped was a fighting stance. What are you doing here? It was halfway between a disdainful laugh and an amused snort.
You mean to fight me with that, Your heritage hasn't blessed you with brains, I see.
His tone was mocking, but his eyes were like two chips of ice. This was a dangerous man. What was I to do? I could hardly face him alone.
Calm down. I haven't come here to fight. Not today, at least. I only want to know what, if anything, you have to do with Kodo.
Kodo? That was my father's name. But why would he, of all people, mention my father? You want to know about my father?
Father? You mean Kodo?
If you're talking about Kodo Yukimura, then yes, he's my father.
I see.
I'd been surprised in his face at first. I'd seen surprise in his face at first, but now an understanding seemed to have dawned across it. Unfortunately, my own confusion had only deepened. Why are you asking about my father? I lowered the broom, my situation temporarily forgotten when...
Trying to sneak into the enemy camp alone, huh? Well, not on my watch.
Hijikata-san? He settled into a loose fighting stance, placing himself between Kazuma and my pathetically ineffectual broom.
What are you doing out here in broad daylight? A little early in the day to be picking up chicks, pal. Get away from her!
Hanada-san! Heisuke!
I heard you yelling. Sounds like you were up to something besides cleaning. You alright, Shizuru? You hurt?
I nodded, relieved.
Amoeba's wolves can only fight in a pack, eh? Watch it.
I could feel the tension rising by the second, but it was Cosmo who attempted to cut through it.
If you want to play, then I'm happy to oblige. But I'm here today to simply take care of some business. More specifically, to issue a warning. Stop trying to turn humans into demons.
What? Humans into demons? What was he talking about the water of life?
Not your business. Yeah, what makes you think we're just gonna listen to a sleazebag go attack the girl in broad daylight? Idiots. Are you too blind to see that I'm doing you a favor?
If he was trying to show the Shinsengumi kindness, it certainly didn't show in his face.
This is our turf. You better shut your trap before we got to do it for you. The smaller the dog, the louder the bark. True, though.
Huh?
Yeah, have you noticed how chihuahuas are?
Oh, right. Right. Chihuahuas. He looked away from the captains as though suddenly entirely uninterested in them, and fixed me with a cold gaze.
Odo-san is with us now, Chizuru. Do you understand what that means? Your father has abandoned the shogunate.
What? His mysterious smile gave me nothing in the way of explanation.
Why are you here? I suggest that you think on that. Carefully.
Then, with a slow, rippling motion, like a shadow slipping across the ground, he turned his back to us and vanished. What was happening? What were demons? And why had they come after me?
More importantly, why aren't you drinking water?
Because nobody had requested it.
Well, I just did.
My father was with them? On their side, he must have meant. Did that mean he was working with national imperialists? The inside of my head was a swirling mass of questions and doubts, but the one thing that most concerned me was...
The demons.
The demons. Who were these men who call themselves demons? What are these demons? Hijikatsu-san crossed his arms, his face dark.
After fighting them, I can say that they sure as hell aren't human. Not by a long shot. He's skinny as a rail, but he can hit like an axe.
Ox.
Oh, ox. Yeah, I'd say demon is a pretty good way to describe him.
Kazuma and his companions clearly had strength and skill far beyond that of most men. Perhaps they really were monsters of some sort.
Well, hell, if Hijikata thinks they're demons, then they've gotta be demons. Yep, he's the Shinsugumi's demon after all. Shut it, you two, this is serious.
Their playful argument was familiar ground, but it gave me something to hold on to, a small beacon against the darkness. I felt myself relax, and a sigh of relief found its way to my lips. Weh. From then on, Matsumoto-sensei visited the compounds regularly to check up on the men of the Shinsengumi. The Corps was renamed the Fury Corps, but remained secret. Fury Corps, a secret division made up of men who had become Furies, sometimes referred to obliquely among the Shinsengumi as the Corps. Still, I couldn't help but wonder, was it really alright to continue to research the creation of Furies? It wasn't long before I began to wish I'd never heard of the Water of Life or Furies. October. After the dust cleared, following the Hamaguri Rebellion, the Shogun set about cleaning house.
Literally.
The Choshu domain were declared enemies of the court, and the Shogun gathered other domains and launched a military campaign known as the Choshu Expedition. Choshu Expedition, a military expedition by the Tokugawa shogunate against the Choshu, who attacked the imperial palace and subsequently became enemies of the court after the Hamaguri Rebellion. It was the intention of the shogunate to completely demolish the Choshu domain, but intervention on the part of Satsuma and some of the other domains led to an early end of the expedition, with no actual battles fought. Perhaps feeling they dodged a bullet, the Choshu domain fell silent for a time. Their obedience was short-lived, however, and before long their disrespect for the shogun became impossible to ignore. Kondo-san was asked to accompany an envoy sent to the Choshu to investigate their behavior, but they refused to even meet with the envoy. Fed up with their insubordination, the shogunate ordered the second Choshu expedition.
Hey guys, listen up!
What is it, Nagakura-san? Is something wrong?
What, you run into some outlaw Ronin out there? No way, it's worse than that. I heard that Lord Iomichi's dead.
What? Lord Yamochi, the 14th shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate? I could feel my chest tighten. I'd never seen his face in person, and neither had most of the Shinsengumi. Even so, the Shinsengumi had been assigned to guard him in the past, and he was the symbol of the shogunate.
Are you sure? Man, this has got to be the worst time for something like this to happen. What's going to happen to the Choshu expedition? Have they decided upon a new shogunate yet? I don't really know any details. There's no way we can go to war without a leader. It'd destroy morale. I know. I got a real bad feeling about this. The Choshu got off easily. I'm just hoping they'll get the pounding they deserve this time, but
They're only a single domain. I tried to convince myself that a single domain couldn't cause much of a problem, but I couldn't shake that feeling of dread. Soon afterward, the shogunate led a massive army against the Choshu, but the expense of war weighed heavily on the coffers of the other domains, and they fielded fewer troops than the shogunate had hoped for. The death of Yamochi was another blow to army morale, and some domains withdrew from the war entirely. So it was that the second Choshu expedition ended in a shocking defeat for the shogunate army. That was the moment when the shogunate government, stable for 260 years, began to waver. It sure has been hot lately. It's October!
yeah.
I swept my hand across my face, wiping away several new beads of sweat. Kyo was a nice city, but I could have certainly done without the humid heat.
Indeed.
Beneath his usual calm, there was a hint of alertness and carefully restrained violence, and for good reason. The Choshu had been declared enemies of the court after the Hamaguri Rebellion and driven out of Kyo, but some feared remnants of their forces had remained behind in hiding. Now more than ever, Saito-san and the rest of the Shinsengumi had to be alert and focused when on patrol.
I'll begin with this store. Wait here. There's nothing for you to do inside.
All right. He gave me a short nod of confirmation and stepped into the shop with his men.
I'm from the Shinsengumi. I have come to inspect your store. Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
I'd been waiting for Saito-san and his division for a few minutes when I noticed a commotion nearby.
Oh, great. Hey, out of the way! You got a couple of patriots coming through here.
A number of rather unpleasant-looking Ronin were making their way in my general direction, yelling, threatening, and generally intimidating anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Patriots? Hardly. Perhaps they consider themselves loyal to the imperial court, but they looked like those sort who only use their supported patriotism as an excuse to steal and kill.
Supposed patriotism, but okay.
Bleh. These were just the sort of men whom the Shinsengumi were charged with subduing.
Hey, you deaf? I told you to move.
The Ronin tossed a poorly aimed kick at a child playing in the street. Stop! I'd barely taken a single step towards them when... That's a line. That's a line.
Desist, you hooligans.
Desist, you hooligans! I didn't see where she'd come from, but a girl had run out to place herself between the Ronin and the child.
Was it? You think you can tell us what to do, lady? Ha! Some broad wants to pick a fight with us. Patriots loyal to the Emperor?
The man's obviously short fuse had been lit. He made a grab for the girl and missed. I suspected his next attack wouldn't be quite so inaccurate. I couldn't let that happen.
Wing. Who are you? You know this broad?
No, I don't.
Then how's about you keep your damn nose out of my goddamn business?
Flecks of spit flew from his mouth as he roared at me, and my legs suddenly felt somewhat weaker than they had a moment ago.
Pretty sure I did too.
But I was committed. I couldn't run now. If you truly love your country as you say, then why do you abuse women and children? A samurai should protect common people, not attack them.
What did you say? That's right, you tell him, son. How you like that, you goddamn Ronin? Patriot, my ass. Get out of my city!
Something about my speech seemed to have struck a chord with the crowd that had begun to gather. With
Ad
the
break in progress.
With the cheers, my legs started to regain some of their usual steadiness.
You son of a bitch!
With a rough hiss of metal, the Ronin sword leapt from its scabbard. I suddenly discovered that I had difficulty swallowing.
Shit.
I could try to dodge, but if I did, he might hit the girl my actions had intended to protect. No, that wasn't an option. I shut my eyes.
I don't think Discord like that.
No, I heard nothing. I heard something that time.
Let's go with it. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Slowly yawning and carefully, I opened my eyes.
You needed to worry. I used the back of my sword.
Saito-san!
You! Take him to headquarters. They may be Choshu. Yes, sir!
Working quickly, Saito-san's men set to work binding the Ronin for transport. Saito-san's cold eyes fell on me. Uh-oh. We're in trouble. We're in trouble!
Maybe. That was reckless. Why didn't you call me?
I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. The gentleman is right. You were dreadfully reckless. I had the situation quite well in hand. Uh, um... A scolding from Saito-san was expected, but I hadn't thought that my erstwhile damsel in distress would contribute. I'm sorry I made you worry. I gave her a short, slightly confused bow, to which she blinked as if suddenly remembering something very important. Oh, but you did save me, didn't you now? And I haven't thanked you yet. How crude of me. Thank you. I must say, you're awfully courageous. Most people wouldn't dare confront a Ronin, so... No, I didn't. I mean, Saito-san and his men saved me. I didn't really do anything. She raised a dainty hand to her mouth in a poor attempt to stifle a giggle. You needn't be so modest. I suspect that our meeting here, is Providence. Providence?
Yes.
Providence. Young ladies must watch out for one another here in the city.
Oh, what? She knew.
Saito-san glanced from her to me, and an expression flickered across his face that I couldn't quite place.
He's got this look of like, oh shit.
Look, nah, that's his face.
You can't expect to fool everyone. There's no need to worry about it.
Oh dear. Was it supposed to be a secret? Perhaps I shouldn't have mentioned it? Well, I wasn't entirely sure how to respond. How does a person respond to that sort of question?
Drink. That's how they respond.
Alright. Nah. She seemed to sense my confusion and gracefully moved on. I'm terribly sorry, but I don't believe I've even asked your name. How terribly boorish of me. I should very much like to be friends, but it is difficult to become acquainted with the nameless. Might I inquire as to who you are, then? Well, this is... It seemed only polite to introduce him first, being that he was a good deal more important than I, but the girl seemed to have other ideas. Oh, I know who he is. Saito-san, yes? The Shinsengumi is frighteningly famous here. And you are?
Oh.
My name is Chizuru Yukimura. It's nice to meet you. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Chizuru. Wait, nope. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Chizuru-chan. You may call me Sen. Sen-san? Sen, a young woman who was rescued from a belligerent Ronin in Kyo by the Hironi, also known as Olsen. Oh goodness, you needn't be so uptight. You look to be about my age, so I see no reason for us not to speak as... What?
Contemporaries.
Okay, contemporaries. I don't think I've ever seen that word written out before. So just Sen then? I suppose that will do. She grasped my hand between her own, her face open and earnest. We must meet again sometime, Chizuru-chan.
Let's see. Contemporary is a person of roughly the same age as another.
Huh. Roughly.
Yeah.
She gave my hand a gentle squeeze, then turned and left, her kimono flapping behind her. Our encounter was over before I'd had a chance to grasp what was even happening, and so I simply stood stunned for a moment or two. I glanced up uncertainly at Saito-san. Is my, disguise really so easy to see through? If it wasn't, then how had Sen, whom I just met, been able to tell immediately that I was a girl? I had to admit, I'd felt like it was a pretty good disguise. Saito-san looked down at me, a strange expression on his face.
Who knows?
Wait, what? What's that supposed to mean?
Huh?
His only response was a flicker of a smile. I opened my mouth to protest.
We should go. We've fallen already behind. We must hurry to complete our patrol on time.
He spun on his heel and marched off down the street. Fine. It was clear he had given me all the answers I was going to receive, and so I hurried to catch up, albeit somewhat petulantly. It felt like summer. Each day was harder than the last. We are in October, mind you. On this particular sweltering day, I was bringing some tea to Kondo-san, who was relaxing on the veranda. Here's your tea, sir.
Oh, thank you.
He had been deep in thought, arms crossed and face stern.
Thank you.
Things had been bad since Lord Iamochi's death. Kondo-san especially was having a difficult time of it. Perhaps it was best if I simply left him alone. I turned and had already begun to walk away when he spoke.
Matsumoto Sensei is examining Soji right now.
His coughing had grown more violent and more frequent lately. Perhaps... What did he say?
He hasn't said anything yet. I hope it's nothing serious. If something happened to Soji, I don't know how I'd be able to face her.
Her?
Yes.
Lines formed across his forehead and his frown deepened.
When we left for Kyo, Mitsu, his older sister, asked me to look out for him. If I made her mad, I shudder to think what might happen to me. The very thought is frightening.
Fact of the day, Okita has two sisters.
Hmm.
He has Mitsu and he has Kin. I think it's Kin anyway. What would she do to you?
Bad things, Yukimura.
It wasn't exactly the sort of thing I'd ever thought I'd hear from Kondo-san of all people. As his descriptions of her behavior became more and more exaggerated, I found myself laughing.
Hey, this isn't a laughing matter. I'd rather fight off Ted Ronan than try to argue with her. She's quite something. That makes two of us.
Well, that was cut out.
That makes two of us.
I should have specified, not you, but like that whole bit right there.
Oh.
That was completely reworked. Hijikata-san?
I hope everything will turn out alright, but if something should happen to Soji, then I would like you to be the one to tell Mitsu, Toshi. Like hell I will. That kind of crap isn't what we have a chief for. Chief. Easy for you to say.
Okay, I don't know which one I like more now. Because this is the original, and then the remake is more about Soji, like, being a fucking menace. I don't know which one I like more. Damn it. Kondo-san's behavior had been strange enough, but Hijikata-san too? Just what sort of person was Okita-san's sister?
Scary is what she is.
Scary, apparently. And they cut this out. And we never ever see Mitsu.
Oh, right. Did you hear about the notice board over by the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge?
Sanjo Ohashi, a bridge over the Kamo River at Sanjo Street in Kyo. It was the last stop on the Tokaido and Nakasendo roads. Two of the five roots of Edo.
And then?
Notice board. A board to notify the public of established laws regarding specific people or affairs. The board he was talking about had been set up by the shogunate to officially and publicly declare the Choshu enemies of the court.
Some assholes pulled it out and tossed it into the Kamo. Yes, of course I heard about that. Have they already replaced it? They did. The same thing happened again. I think they're gonna ask us to keep an eye on it pretty soon. It got torn down at night, didn't it? What do you say to using San and San's Fury Core then?
Hijikata-san frowned.
The Fury Core. Do you think it's a bad idea?
Hijikata-san chose his words carefully, his face grim.
They work hard enough, but they tend to get a little excited. Whatever we do to them, they end up slaughtering the other side. That's enough for them. That's not enough for them, though. They go in and hack the corpses to bits. Most of the time, they're not even recognizable. Maybe they're doing it to try and hide the Shinsugumi's hand, but they're going too far. We're not just a pack of murder hobos. I told them to knock it off, but they won't listen. They just want to play with their corpses. I said murder hobo.
Why did you say murder hobo?
Because
What?
I'm a D player and that's a common term.
What the fuck? Murder hobo.
Yes.
Why is that a common term?
Because D&D D&D characters float from place to place murdering things. So, murder hobo.
What the fuck?
They keep this up, and we're no better than those night cutters.
I felt a shiver snake down my spine as he spoke.
Ooh.
Even more than a year later, I still remember with terrifying clarity what I'd seen when I first arrived in Kyo. The Furies. They'd behaved as if possessed by evil spirits, their swords hacking away mercilessly at men already dead. It hadn't been hatred or fear that drove them, but some sort of twisted amusement. I didn't think I'd ever forget the half-mad smiles each had worn.
I've got a few other ideas. Good. I'll leave the details to you then, Toshi. Yes. Have you heard about Lord Yoshinobu Hitatsu Tsubashi? The old guardian of the Shogun?
Guardian of the Shogun, a position created during the Bakumatsu period to assist whoever held the office of Shogun. Yoshinobu Hitotsubashi. Born into the Mito Tokugawa clan, he was adopted into the Hitotsubashi house, one of the other three houses, to increase his chances to be shogun. He held the position of Guardian of the Shogun with the 14th shogun and later succeeded him as the 15th. I think he was 15? Yoshinobu, I mean?
Yeah, what about him? I've heard a couple of people say he's like Ieyasu Reborn.
Ieyasu.
I don't know about Ieyasu Reborn. I don't know about that, but I do hear he's pretty sharp.
Before long, they started to discuss politics I couldn't begin to understand, and I politely excused myself. I thought back on what Hijikata-san had said. It was true that San had been acting strange, and the Fury Core had been getting more and more violent. There was a lot on my mind, but what worried me the most was...
The notice board?
the notice board. Just as Ichigata-san had predicted, a few days later, the order came down for the Shinsengumi to guard the notice board. All divisions not on regular patrol rounds were directed to take turns on guard duty. The first day was quiet, and the men on duty spent most of it simply standing around.
Yeah, I was up all night guarding a damn board. Tiring work, that's for sure. Now I'm off fighting scores of Choshu punks. Now, fighting off scores of Choshu punks, that I can do. But guarding a piece of wood? It's just hard to get pumped up about that, you know?
Well, it's still an important job.
Yeah, I know, but still... Maybe tonight something will happen? Tonight is... you, right, Sano? Sure is. I will discharge my duty with honor and enthusiasm.
Nagakura-san had just opened his mouth to respond when I heard footsteps approaching us.
The whole Shogunate army could not defeat a single domain. They really believe killing a few nameless Ronin for defacing a piece of wood will do them any good?
Hi, Mage!
Hi, Mage.
I don't know.
Nom,
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 nom.
nom, nom.
The footsteps belonged to Ito-san, the Shinsengumi's military advisor. His tight smile had a twist of irony to it.
You got a problem with the Shinsengumi's duties? Oh, no, nothing of the sort. Even guarding a board is an important task. Well, best of luck to you. If you'll excuse me.
He picked his way deliberately out of the hall, giggling giggling to himself. Thank you. As soon as his footsteps had faded out of hearing, Nagakura-san spat out a curse.
Fucker. As much a pain in the ass as usual, huh? We get hired by the Shogunate, and he goes around talking about how much better the Emperor is. I caught him sneaking around a couple of times trying to recruit some of our guys into, well, something. Who knows what he's up to? I still don't get why Kondo brought him here.
It wasn't just Nagakura-san and Harada-san who didn't seem to like Ito-san much. I'd heard plenty of the other captains and even some of the soldiers talking about him in less than glowing terms. There was no way Ito-san himself hadn't picked up on it, but he seemed to have larger concerns than his reputation, and had devoted his efforts to increasing his power base within the Shinsengumi. We're about to have a repeat of Kondo and Serizawa is what is about to happen.
Yeah, basically.
Whatever was going on with him, I hope it would resolve itself quickly. The Shinsengumi couldn't afford infighting. Again!
Emphasize again.
Very much. Again!
Guess it's time. I'm off.
Oh,
What? You want to tag along? Probably not a good idea, kid. Those demons are still after you, right? I can't take you out on the streets at night.
Sitting around all day doing nothing was beginning to chafe. I wanted to help somehow, but Harada-san was right. If I went with him, I'd just end up getting in the way. Well, please be careful, okay, Harada-san?
Sure. Sure thing. Thanks.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Oh, not whoosh. That night they struck, or at least tried to. 8 men from the Tosa domain challenged Harada-san and his division in an attempt to tear down the notice board. Tosa domain, a domain ruled by the opposing daimyo Umauchi. The domain supported imperial unification, but many Ronin from the Tosa region were nationalistic imperialists.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't live in Tosa. In this period, don't live in Tosa. The fighting was furious but short. Harada-san managed to capture some of the perpetrators, although some of those he had captured later managed to escape. Harada and his division were honored by the Aizu domain for their service to the shogunate and given a reward. When he was asked how the captured men had managed to escape, he simply replied, "It was too dark to get a good look," and said no more. And now we're in Shimabara. Several days after Harada-san's encounter at the notice board, I accompanied the captains to a meal at Sumi, a restaurant located in Shimabara, the Kyo red light district, where high-ranking courtesans can be hired for entertainment.
I hate being here. Well, I'll be damned. You really did it, Sano.
What you say before that?
I hate the red light district.
Why?
And it's purely because of a certain very angry guy that oh yeah, Sarazawa-san, that's the fucker.
Oh, right.
And to think, you wanted to use that reward money to treat us to some good food. Wow. If you're gonna suck up, you might as well try and mention how he actually got that reward. I'll get to it. I'm just so touched that he's gonna pay the bill, I think. I think I might just cry. Tonight's on Sano, guys. Drink as much as you want and forget all your problems. Hey, don't go nuts, alright? Thanks, Sano. I'm gonna drink myself stupid. Not everyone in here
Nope.
can drink. Oh, I just saw Jikata. I'm sorry. Not everyone here can drink, you know. There's more to do than drink, you know. Eat, for instance. Yeah, I guess you're right. Hell, Asano's paying. Why not? Asano-san's paying. Why not?
I wasn't entirely sure Sumi was the sort of place a girl should be, but they were treating me like I was one of them. Like I'd finally been accepted. It felt nice.
Ain't that nice?
Ain't that nice? The door at the other end of the room slid open. Oh, God. I don't know what voice to give her.
Maybe the same one you did for SSL?
She wasn't in SSL.
Oh.
I'm talking about Kimigiku.
Oh.
Oh, God. Oh, how to... Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for coming. An oiran in a beautiful kimono stepped through to greet us with a smile that was somehow both dazzling and demure. Oiran, a term for courtesans during the Edo period, specifically those in the Yoshiwara district of Edo and of high rank. The higher the rank of the oiran, the more wealthy and powerful their patron had to be. Her skin was as white as porcelain with soft red highlights. Her lips looked soft and full, and her hair shone in the light like yards of fine silk. For a moment, I'd stared in awe of her beauty, my own sex forgotten. Something flickered in her eyes, but it was gone almost immediately. Then she smiled, and it was like watching a flower bloom. I am Kimigiku, and I will be entertaining you tonight. Kimigiku, an oiran courtesan of the Tenjin rank, the second highest rank, in the Shimabara red light district of Kyo. Please enjoy yourselves. Food will be arriving shortly. Indeed it had, and once the food had arrived, the party truly began.
Man, the expensive sake is way different. It just goes down smooth. You haven't even touched your food, Heisuke. If you eat on an empty stomach, you'll get drunk before you even have a chance to enjoy it. Whatever. You know how often I get booze this good? Never. Throwing up on food just be a waste of stomach space. Heisuke, no. You sound like a bum. Just drink up. Hey, just 'cause you drink like there's a hole in your stomach doesn't mean the rest of us can. You having fun, Chizuru? It doesn't look like you're drinking much. That's because she's underage.
Oh, I can't drink, so I'm just enjoying the food.
All right. Well, make sure you can eat a lot then. Well, we're here to have a good time, so it'd be a damn shame if you didn't have fun.
Thanks.
Take a
Drink.
shot. Remember, Chad, do not drink alcohol while playing this game.
Because Chizuru says that a lot.
I mean, unless that's actually your goal, but still, don't do it.
Yeah, no, you might get alcohol poisoning at that point.
I'd take it.
Still, wait, what?
I said I'd take it.
What do you mean you take it?
I'd take the alcohol poisoning and get me away from work for a while.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Don't. However, you drunk equals Heisuke, which is what Heisuke would do. He did say he'd drink himself stupid. Still, it was the first time I'd ever eaten anything so expensive. Although, to be honest, I couldn't really taste much of a difference. I've forgotten her voice already. Oh, no, wait, Black Mesa. Okay.
Black Mesa.
Black Mesa.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that the men of the Shinsengumi were like demons or monsters. But from where I sit, you look a good deal more handsome than that. Almost like an actor.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Kimiguku and Hijikata-san chatted easily while she poured him his sake, looking almost too beautiful to be real, like they'd stepped out of a painting. Next
Gallifrey Falls and no more. The painting, Gallifrey Falls, no more.
Oh, God damn it. Next to someone like her, anyone would have felt rather plain. I was no exception, and dressing like a boy certainly wasn't helping.
Still, can't believe they gave all this cash just for protecting a board. I mean, hell, imagine how much you got if you caught all of them. How much did they get away, actually? You said they were only 8. That should have been pretty manageable. Yeah. What's up with that? You surrounded them, didn't ya? How'd they get away? And how did the guys you actually caught escape? Yeah, I'm immediately going for it.
Harada-san fell silent, his face slipping into a frown. He stayed that way for a moment or two, then looked inexplicably at me.
Oh. Chizuru, did you go anywhere that night?
What? I hesitated, unsure of what he was getting at. No, I didn't go anywhere. Why?
You're sure? You didn't go anywhere that night?
I'm sure. I've never left the compound alone ever. Again he fell silent, and the same frown crossing his face.
Hey. Oh, wrong. Uh, hey. What's wrong?
Harada-san didn't look up. When he spoke, his voice was quiet.
Maybe it was a mistake. There wasn't a moon that night. It was dark. No, I saw her up close. There was no way I'd made a mistake.
Harada-san? What are you talking about? At last he looked up, straight into my eyes.
After we surrounded the Tosamen who tried to take down the notice board, this girl showed up. She looked just like you. Got in our way. Because of her, our whole formation fell apart.
What? The whole room had gone silent.
Jazz music stops.
It literally did. Harada-san barely spoke above a whisper, but every one of us could hear him perfectly. A girl who looked just like me?
I wonder who that could be.
What did he mean?
Well, like they say, shit happens. But tonight, Sano's paying, so let Jake till the sun comes up. Second, time to find out just how much of this stuff I can handle.
Heisuke, no! In just a few minutes, Heisuke and Nagakura had the party back in full swing, but I couldn't get my mind off what Harada-san had said.
Why didn't Saito say something about it?
Why?
He was there, wasn't he?
What do you mean?
Oh, wait a minute, no, he wasn't.
No.
Okita would have said something. Hell, Heisuke should have said something.
But Heisuke didn't think they look alike.
Yeah, but he would have remembered.
Maybe. Also,
But
he
then
might,
again,
he's kind of drunk.
Yeah, I
He
was
is-
just about to say.
Heisuke is kind of drunk at this point.
What do you mean, kinda? I'm not drunk at all. You're drunk. And just like that, we're cutting them off.
Yep. I never...
I milk. He said he liked milk.
What?
I'm trying to remember what I drank milk. I don't know. Continue.
I'm trying! I never left the compound on my own since the time I first met the Shinsengumi. Then, what had he seen? I felt...
Range?
complicated.
Hmm.
To be honest, I wasn't quite sure what to feel. I hadn't gotten in Harada-san's way, of course. There was no way I could have. But I felt bad. Someone who looked just like me had made things more difficult for the Shinsengumi. I didn't know who she was, but our shared appearance made me feel responsible somehow. Who was this strange girl?
You worried about what Sano said?
Oh, yes, I am. I was wondering how someone could look just like me.
Maybe you got possessed. Whenever you're sleeping, a restless spirit takes over your body and you wander the streets of Kyo. Totally oblivious.
Fuck you, Okita.
Do you really think that's what happened?
Maybe he was right. Maybe I was the culprit. I was puzzling that over in my head when he burst into peals of laughter.
Oh man, I'm just joking, kid. People don't really get possessed. Yeah, you deserve this one.
Fuck you, Okita.
What? You were kidding?
His laughter grew even louder, and I watched with flustered indignation as he wiped a tear from his eye.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Seriously though. just think about what Sano said for a minute. You remember that girl we met on patrol with Heisuke? The one who looked just like you?
Oh. Of course! The girl who Okita-san had said I bore a striking resemblance to. I'd almost forgotten about her. Her name was Kaoru.
Do you think she was the one who kept Harada-san from capturing all the Tosamen?
Well, I can't say for sure, but it seems a lot more likely than there being a third girl in Kyoto who looks just like you.
But she was just a normal girl. She didn't look like the kind of person who would try to sabotage the Shinsengumi.
Allegedly. Haven't you ever heard you can't judge a book by its cover? Maybe she just wanted you to think that. There's no way to know what she might be capable of. Besides, there isn't a person in Kyoto who doesn't know what that board represents.
There was no doubt in his voice.
What would you do if the girl was the same one who Harada-san saw?
Oh, you already know the answer to that, don't you? I'd kill her, of course. She might be a girl, but an enemy isn't an enemy.
He was right. I had known that he would choose to kill her. But to actually hear the cold finality of his words...
I need to go use the, facilities.
Oh, you're going to the toilet?
God damn it! I just couldn't bear to stay in that room any longer. You had to do it. Didn't
Yes,
you?
I did. Yes. Yes.
You're bringing SSL in here.
Yeah, and what you gonna do about it?
Ah! Were the girl we'd seen and the one who'd interrupted Harada-san one and the same? If she was interfering with the Shinsengumi on purpose, did that mean that she was an imperialist? Or was she simply doing it for her own enjoyment? After all, there wasn't a person in Kyo who didn't know the name of the Shinsengumi. She had to know what would happen to her if she challenged them.
There you are. I wondered where you'd gone off to. Something wrong? The food not your thing?
No. It's wonderful. The food, I mean. It's something else.
You're worried about that girl that Harada saw.
I pressed a button I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, you did.
There was no hiding my thoughts from him, it seemed.
Don't you worry about it, alright? Anybody messes with us, and I'll make sure they pay for it. One way or another.
That's a mistake. His words were as curt as always, of course.
Words. Words.
He words. He words.
I suppose hers would be she words.
God damn it. His words were as curt as always, of course, but I felt like I could sense a certain kindness beneath them.
Because I've gotten feelings for you.
In his own way, he seemed to care about my feelings.
I just said that.
Of course, thanks.
Take a shot.
Yep.
Drink your water, chat.
I did.
I said chat.
Right.
I could feel my tension begin to dissipate. Without a word, he moved over next to me and sat down. I could feel a warm breeze drifting in through the open window.
Nah, it's different. Do you want to do the thing?
What?
Or can you?
What?
Full screen it, take away the text.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yay! That's a unique pattern.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways,
Nugget time.
all right, now it's time for the real party to start. You ready, Sato? We want to see it. All right, I gotta make sure.
What?
Hey, just calls him Sato. You're talking. Can't have a party without Sato's unique performance. Well, I guess I don't have a choice then, do I? How can I say no to you guys anyway? What a guy! Can you get us a brush and some ink, ma'am?
Their voices echoed out from the other room, drifting through the warm air. The look in Hijikata-san's face was one I'd never seen before.
Man, takes me back.
I'm sorry?
We used to run this poor sword school back in Tama. We used to drink like this every night. This just reminds me of that.
Tama refers to Tama County, also known as Bushu. I didn't know that. In the Musashi province, both Kondo-san and Hijikata-san are natives of this area.
Now that you knew.
I knew they were of the same area, but Bushu and the other thing, I didn't know.
Yeah. There were a lot of men who wanted to know how to swing a sword in case we went to war or something. But not too many of them wanted to learn from a bunch of country hicks. We didn't have much in the way of money or students, but it was still fun.
Hijikata-san's face as he spoke was warm and kind. Not the sort of thing I would have expected from the commander whose men called him the demon.
Hmm? Something up?
Oh, I was just surprised you used to, do that.
What do you mean? Do you think I've spent my whole life being a cold-hearted bastard, knocking around idiot kids in an attempt to get them into some sort of order?
Yes. I could hardly tell him that was exactly what I thought. So I sputtered and mumbled desperately. You okay?
I had a burp, that's all.
No. Instead of the irritated frown I'd expected, his tranquil, warm expression remained, and he went on almost as if I'd said nothing.
I still think about it every so often. Wasn't long ago, I was just a street merchant selling my family's medicine. Now I wear swords and work for the shogun. Sometimes I wonder if this is just a dream. Eventually, I'll just have to wake up.
That would be very sad.
Yeah, it would.
By the time he finished, he seemed to be speaking more to himself than to me. The moon had risen outside our window, and as he looked up, its lights washed over his face, the cool glow playing across his handsome features. Just like Kimikiku had said, he was as good-looking as an actor. After her, though, a girl like myself had to seem awfully plain.
Sometimes plain is best.
Especially next to a man as beautiful as he.
Ah! Oh, I can't take it! Stop it, Sato! I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe! Come on, you're the idiot who got me up here in the first place. Now you want to stop right in the. Now you want me to stop right in the middle of it? You're great, Sato. One time.
Discord did not like that.
Oh no! You're the greatest, Sato. One time.
Wow, really didn't like that.
One more time.
At least it came through.
Ah, that one was better.
The party lasted until morning. There was the Fury Corps to worry about, and now a girl who looked just like me. It was a lot to think about, but it was hard to feel down when everyone around me was having such a great time. It was near New Year's End, and I was outside in the cold weather, sweeping the compound. Well, that should do it. I wanted to help out as much as I could, but since they still refused to let me out without an escort, there wasn't a great deal I could do. Still, I had helped make our home clean, and that felt good. Hopefully they'd like it too.
Cleaning, I see. You're certainly hard at work. Ah.
Oh, hello, Kondo-san. It's gotten really cold lately, hasn't it?
Yes, it has indeed. I've been in Kyoto for a while now, but I still can't get used to the weather.
He rubbed his hands together and blew on them in a mostly vain attempt to warm them up.
I've picked up a bunch of dead leaves, so I was thinking about roasting potatoes later.
Ooh.
Would you like some? They'll warm you up.
Kondo-san gave a little wry smile.
Roasted potatoes, huh? I used to enjoy that a long time ago.
Oh. I flushed with embarrassment. Kondo-san was a busy man. Management of the Shinsengumi was not easy. A man like that didn't have time for roasting potatoes.
You've been really busy lately. I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Hmm? Oh, right. Well, if I am busy, then that means that the Shinsengumi is needed. It's an honor.
True.
In the last several weeks, Kondo-san and Hijikata-san had left the temple often to go meet with important shogunate officials. They probably scarcely had time to breathe, let alone relax. At that moment, almost as if my thoughts had summoned him, Hijikata-san appeared.
There you are, Kondo-san. Oh, Toshi, where were you? I was looking for you. They've chosen the next shogun. That's going to be Lord Yoshinobu Hitotsubashi.
Yay! Hijikata-san's brow furrowed to what I wouldn't have had.
I wouldn't have hesitated.
Hijikata-san's brow furrowed to what I wouldn't have hesitated to describe as a glower?
Glower.
Glower, okay.
Him, huh? Well, let's hope he lives up to the rumors. Do you find a dark side to everything? Oh.
Who's Lord Hitotsubashi?
I had a vague memory that he was the commander of the shogunate forces during the Battle of Hamaguri Gate. The Kondo-san gave me a quick explanation of the rest.
They say he's very intelligent. Some even going so far as to call him the second coming of Lord Iyatsu.
He glanced over at Hijikata-san, perhaps looking for corroboration. He found none.
Oh! At any rate, he has a quick mind, and the Emperor trusts him. How could he be a poor choice?
There was a certain pride in Kondo-san's voice, almost as if he were talking about a friend or brother.
Speaking of brothers,
Eh?
her brother portraying her?
Oh. If what he said was true, though, then perhaps the shogun would be able to unite the shogunate and the imperial court, and overcome the crisis that was destroying our nation.
Alright, he's smart. I'll give him that. Then what's the problem? Forget it. Doesn't really matter who the shogun is to us anyway. We're just here to fight for him. That's right. If we do our best, then that means the shogun and the shogunate are safe and secure.
He kept his tone carefully light, perhaps in an attempt to sway Hijikata-san, but to no avail. Only 20 days after Lord Yoshinobu had been officially inaugurated as the new shogun, the emperor passed away.
Oh no.
It was especially hard on the emperor's younger sister, Kazunomiya, who had been married to Lord Yamochi and was intended to be a symbol of imperial unification. But everyone on both sides was shocked by his death. Imperial unification, a political movement that sought to unify the upper echelons of the shogunal and imperial classes. Ieyamochi Tokugawa married the sister of the emperor as part of this movement. He was succeeded by the imperial prince, a young boy of only 15 years.
Ew.
Yeah. In the turmoil, the activities of the Choshu domain went uninvestigated. The entire country of Japan found itself thrust into rapid motion. I've earned a bronze trophy called New Friends, and now we're in Chapter 3.
And it's been almost 2.5 hours.
Yep. April 1867.
Which I think is a good opportunity for a BRB to get up, stretch, and do whatever.
Is it a BRB moment?
I feel like it is.
I know what's gonna happen next because I see the options and I'm like, I'm gonna have to yell.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, save the data, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, game. 2 hours and almost 30 minutes.
Yep.
And it's almost 11.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can yell for that.
Not this late at night, anyway.
No. Like, I can be loud, but to scream?
No.
Especially when it includes the words help. I think. What do we do?
Well, since you said that and everything, we could call it. It's been 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we could.
We were watching Titanic the entire time.
What?
It's been 2.5 hours.
Oh, is that the length of the Titanic movie?
We're coming up on the length of a feature film. We're watching Titanic.
Anyway.
If that's the case, yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Afternoon, 2 p.m. EST, we're going to be playing Hi-Fi Rush. We skipped it last week because this bitch here, got ideas in my head. I had to draw them.
Yeah, and it's my fault.
Yep, absolutely.
I absolutely will bear the pride of that. Just according to Kate.
Oh, God. And then, 9 p.m., maybe-ish, we will come...
depends on what time I get back from work.
Yeah, if not, we will start with a bit of art stream, but we will come back to this first version of Hakuoki and continue this route. Hopefully.
And, with no screaming.
Ha 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 ha. Listen, this thing is filled with screaming. I'm sorry. There's no escape. It's there.
Okay, this is either really terrifying or it's going to be completely silly. There's no in between with you.
Okay.
But Gohan, please drink water.
Have a good day or night.
Try not to die because you didn't drink water, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.